Hey there. Hi. So let's get started. My name is Chaitanya and based out of London. Today, I'm gonna discuss the way how we leverage LLMs in marketing. We're gonna discuss different aspects of how do we measure conversion rates. We leverage data to do certain actions. Think we're going to understand the whole scenario. Many you might have had talks about people talking about building an LLM or maybe fine tuning them. Yeah, but those are the concepts which are around. But leveraging LLM in marketing is something which I haven't thought of before, but I got intrigued with AI and stuff like that, and probably wanted to learn more and then I figured out there are ways where I can improve my marketing conversions or bring in more revenue, understand more data by using certain tools like BigML or maybe Amazon Party. We're gonna discuss all of this, but let me deep dive into this now. So today's agenda, we're gonna talk about introduction, a brief history, introduction to LLMs, the layers of generative AI, optimizing metrics, how marketing change with AI, building your own LLM with Amazon PartyRock, and maybe other tools like that. So let's know each other a bit. Yeah, I think had a good understanding of AI and things since I was working with a company called Right Sonic. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's one of the fastest growing AI tech companies. Joined the company in the initial first few employees. I didn't have a reference on how to grow the product, right? Since AI is a new industry, we couldn't really understand a lot of things, but yeah, we made a way. I was able to grow the company at a good scale, generating over $9 million in about a year. Previously to that, I was mostly leading growth, marketing, and product marketing functions in various tech companies, mostly the cybersecurity, deep tech, AI. Yeah, that's pretty much about me. Yeah, let's deep dive now. So, what's an LLM, right? I think the different definitions and different forms of LLM. But to keep it simple, let's imagine LLM as a bunch of data, a bunch of unorganized, unscattered data where it's sitting in a maybe let's say something like a Google Drive, right? So how do we leverage this data? Is by building a problem set, is building a solution and optimizing the solution. So that's how I look at defining an LLM, and there are different like fine tuning, optimizing. Uh, we can do 100 different things. The core depends on what data you have, how do you acquire the data, and what are the other forms of data. Yeah, probably data ways, and how we can look at it. Right. I think this is the key in building a good LLM or the best LLM. Now, let's look at the layers of generative AI and then like to understand the technology stack and yeah, bits and parts of it. So when you look at the layers of generative AI, you see applications, fine-tuning, foundation models, and infrastructure applications, right? So at Right Sonic, we had our own LLM, which is uh, open source LLM. We fine-tuned it. We released in a product called as Botsonic, with an open API, and people were able to use it. So that's an application level use of LLM, and how we could use build things on top of an application or an API using different tools and techniques. Then let's look at fine tuning. Let's suppose we have a data of an X, which was not really accurate. Maybe trying to give some input to it, and output is not what we're expecting. In an instance like that, you try to fine tune things, and you're trying to optimize things, and you try to get more relevant outputs. Next, let's go to the foundation models. The market for the foundation models is really huge. There are a lot of companies who are working on fine-tuning, pre-training, optimizing these models. So I would see adopting foundation models would change before and after a few years. I think right now we're at a pace where we're able to see more foundation models with rapid data sets. The last comes to infrastructure, right? Like for running this use application using OpenAI or whatever, Hugging Face and all of that, we need large infras. You heard about NVIDIA going into this direction, and probably all of this needs a heavy lifting, probably good retro lifting. That's what I would put through. Let's go back and look at the technology stack. We see the technology at the current stage. I mean, not at the current stage. Technology is always evolving, right? And you see what you see today, and you don't see after a week or a couple of months. So, which means that we need to adapt according to it, consider the amount of data and the amount of things which we need to think through when you're building a large language model. So now doubling that every 3.4 or 5 to 10 months is, yeah, pretty much a hard job. I've read reports where the cost of carbon emissions and therefore the central conditions. We need to maintain the temperature in the data centers. We need to make sure there are no halls with extensive emulsion of different emissions, and keeping at the right things in the right place is an important place. Now let's get into the actuals. Customizing market efforts through LIMS for visual engagement. So when we looked at how do we leverage AI in our marketing efforts, right? So we're working with a company called as Mixpanel, which was pretty much has a more sophisticated technology, and they were able to pull out data on where I could search certain things on how I wanted to see measure things between. Usually at this point, before the AI, we're able to go to Google Analytics or pretty much other tools like that, select a date and look at a conversion rates, right? But now we're able to ask tools, hey, what was my conversion rate between this and this? What was my conversion rate of an ad campaign? So I was able to get more accurate data with different forms of data. Similarly, we're able to measure things like conversion rate, ROI analysis, and customer segmentation. Let's get a bit detailed here. So let's say conversion rate, right? Improving the conversion rate is where we use data to understand what's working and what's not working. Then we measure this in form of ROI. Like could be a payback period, like hey, spending to $100. How much time will I need to keep running my campaigns to get my $100 back, and how much profitability? When does my profitability start? It takes 3 months. So that's what we do. And then customer segmentation. From the customer segmentation using AI, we were able to Personalized segments of marketing, personalized marketing strategies. I was able to personalize certain campaigns where I know that, hey, this guy is from US, this guy is from India, some other person is from UK, and we're able to have different messaging for all the different people, so on and so forth. Yeah, and that was one of the game changing things of personalization, where we could do so many things in terms of personalizing with gifs, images. Yeah, I think the world keeps going on there. Use cases. So let's talk about the use cases for marketing. So one thing we previously discussed, like searching for data. You have wanted to crunch numbers, probably. For me, as a person, I hate Excel. Yeah, can manage with the Google Sheets and all of that, but probably not a big fan of Excel. Then, yeah, there were situations where I had to struggle, use other tools, and pretty much it's a hard job for me. But with AI, I was able to crunch numbers, create formulas, create calculations, a lot of things. So the tools like Sheets.ai, which makes this job pretty easy. So kudos to the makers. And then let's talk about sales intelligence, right? You've probably seen tools like Gong, which were adaptable in terms of understanding what does it sell. So to give an instance, right, you could uh, dial a number and talk to a customer saying that, hey, I saw that you signed up on my website and I wanted to understand more about what you're looking for. Then Gong will understand his reactions and analyze and understand those and gives you word cloud and gives you the sentiment where you're doing better in your pitch, where you're doing bad, and compares with your other teammates' calls. And that's probably what are we looking at and how things are changing. Last one would be data analytics, where move from asking your customers what you're doing and start saying why they do it. So you can say that, hey, conversion rate improved of X, which means that this change which I made a week back is coming today. So you can use it for a similar way. I mean, these are not the two or three use cases. There are different use cases. It depends on how we look at it and how we probably look at uh, building it into our workflows and systems. So so there's a tool called as BigML where you can load your own data and analyze things, and there are different sources. It's a mix of a machine learning model. You can also look at building your own LLM and analyzing and building multiple decision trees, right? So I have different data which I've already uploaded in the past. So while we train some data and also let's look at this one. So if we go back, oops, yeah, this one. So I have all of these details where I get that takes up different parameters like ad name, campaign name, placements, optimization into the consideration. Now, yeah, multiple things, all the things which you see in an ad group, right? Now I also see this one. CPA, I'm just putting weight as 3, create fusion. See, some issue with that model, but let's get into this. So I was able to, this is like based on reviews, we're able to see the importance of a review. Out of 54 instances, it shows me an error rate of 4.815 and unexpected error. Now, this is one. Let's go to models, and you have associations, topic models. I'm going to train this, but let's do this. So this is another data set where I wanted to figure out the branching and grouping of different keywords in those ad campaigns, where top terms, you can see the commercial terms like this, and you can also see the probability, rent, and topic probabilities with. Now let's go to the main. Let me try again. Yes, got it. So now I have this amount of likes which generated and paid followers. I can see the extensions of impressions and then how the overall campaign is looking at it. Let's go back, and then now I see 18 instances like video views, ad name, which are probably is a good data set for me. So I also see number of paid likes, CPMs are less than this is an average, different averages. So this gives me a clear understanding of how my campaigns are going, probably third ways. And we could able to predict a lot of things using this data. So let's play around a bit. You can also see video views at 50%, 3, video views are less than 50% at 2. You can also see the CTR, expected error traffic, instances, CPC, CPL. Yeah, that's what it is. So considering the time, we won't be deep diving into all of these links, but I would be sharing these links with you personally where you can play around and tweak things, maybe figure out a better way to do than me. So let's wrap it up with challenges in this whole LLM navigation. One I see is adaptation of is hard. Getting a buy-in where we say someone is using, someone wants to get an open source one, will conclude on points where, hey, is it safe? Are we leaking up any data? Are we getting a third party data, or what are we training it for? Navigating the privacy, the regulations, and the customer trust is key. So we need to educate people about how privacy could be maintained. It's a narrow game, but still the best to figure it out. If you have any questions, drop down your questions in the comments, and you can also connect with me or LinkedIn. That's all. Thank you. Bye bye.